Hey, hey.
Hello, brother.
Ah, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. Doing well. It's been a great day so far.
Hmm.
How are you, brother?
Ah, new and fresh and a lot of things happening today.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I have a lot of tea next to me. Um,
Hmm.
it's been a lot of sunshine today,
Hmm.
and yeah, I feel new. I feel fresh today. I don't know. I mean, I
Nice.
know, yeah.
So fresh energy, feeling new, feeling renewed.
Hmm.
Good.
I wanted to do this for a long while. I enjoy listening to how effortlessly you rhyme, how it just comes. Um, it's been happening to me lately that I'll be speaking to people and then just I know it's your influence. I know it's the influence of like hip hop and over the years, all these things, but lately it's been more spontaneous.
What's been spontaneous? You said the when you're listening?
When I speak and rhyming just comes out.
Hmm. Hmm.
You have that naturally as well, right?
So like producing your own poetry.
Yeah, more in a sense of, like how you do, let's say you do your qigong session and then
Yeah.
just you just it's like rhyming is your default language.
Yeah, yeah. It starts to become that way, for sure. For sure.
How was the family trip?
Oh, it was nice. It was nice. I got to listen to a lot of them. I had a lot of conversations. It reminds me, brother, there was something I saw that you said. You said, listening is the meal of the day, and
Mm.
that listening is eating energy, you know? So, on Thanksgiving, I got to do a lot of that. I got to eat, you
Mhm.
know, my fill of energy with listening. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. I don't have anything prepared, no questions or or anything.
Oh, no worries. We usually free flow with it. We usually grow with it, you know.
Mm. Mm.
But yeah, I was glad that you invited me to do this. Yeah, I was glad that you wanted to come together and make it happen. Because
Mhm.
like you said, it had been a while.
Yeah, you helped me a lot during summer when we exchanged voice messages about fullness and emptiness and fasting and liquids and all these things.
Hmm.
I I enjoyed the the playlist you have where you read pranic books.
Yeah, yeah. The pranic pages, yeah.
Yeah. Wisdom of the ages from these modern sages.
Oh man, that got me. You're the first person I've heard to read that back to me, man. Thank you. Yeah, 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 man.
I used to fall asleep to that and take naps and do breath work and
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, breath work was something I saw as well that you put up. You were posting a lot about breath work because you have these awesome pictures of anime. You know, you see folks like Naruto and Sasuke and different animes. I think there was even one from maybe that was the Princess of Mononoke.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have these lines that you create on top of these pictures that you're layering these lines on these pictures and you're talking about breath work and conversation and energy and vibration and it's like, yeah, you know, it just feels good to receive that information through a medium that is familiar to me because anime definitely influenced me a lot coming up, you know.
Which anime do you enjoy?
So, years ago I did watch a lot of so some of my favorites were Samurai Champloo,
Mm.
Cowboy Bebop, let me see what else. Definitely Dragon Ball Z, of course,
Oh
was
yeah.
big in my friend group. Naruto, and from there it kind of evolved. I went back and forth reading the manga and then watching the shows and then binging the series and then Netflix came and then it was just off to the races.
Mm.
Yeah, because before I used to wait on Toonami and Adult Swim and stuff for the anime to show up. Toonami was the only way I had access to anime back in the day, and we used to have to wait week by week. Maybe an episode would come on every week, and we would wait for it. But now it's easily accessible. I mean, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Crunchyroll, you can go on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, and you can binge watch these series. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were some of the ones that influenced me coming up and just showed me these characters that had so
Mm.
much depth. They had so much depth. They had so much life, and the worlds that they were in, and the way that they
Mm.
navigated, the way they maneuvered within the world. It was just amazing to watch, and it really influenced you in subtle ways. You maybe latch onto a character that you really like and a bit of them rubs off on you, you
Mm-hmm.
know, a bit of their endurance, a bit of their willingness, a bit of their
Mm.
ambition, it rubs off on you. Yeah.
Yeah, like role models growing up. I I I feel like with the anime, it was like my second father in a way, if you want,
Mm.
where I feel that like my dad was absent for a lot of time,
Mm.
working as we were growing up, and so I used anime characters to kind of pick and choose different, like masculine fatherly figures to make my own. And it kind of bugs my dad sometimes because you know they didn't have all this access to he had his dad and then his grandpa, and that was like one-to-one lineage, and
Mm.
we have now access to the whole world teaching us, like you have a million fathers. You can pick traits and quirks and superpowers, and they just had the one that
Right. Wow. So it bugged him a little bit, huh?
yeah, yeah. You like archetypes as well, and pop culture. I really like your voiceovers of Yoda, and when you do these things.
Yeah, the force is with you, you know. Right. Yoda just has, he can say so much by saying so little.
Hmm.
I was fascinated by that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I resonate and admire with that playful aspect,
Hmm.
in the spiritual community, in the podcast community, in content creation, and in general, when I look at the internet and everything, like it's there's a lot of seriousness, and then playfulness, like yours, with the voices and with the rhymes, and like when you do the qigong, and then kind of like you do a little dance, and you just it's just a spark. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you feel it, man.
Now that you said Yoda saying very saying a lot with very little, today I began reading Conscious Language, and
Hmm.
I don't know, wait, I just have it here.
Yeah, I saw you put that up for people to
Hmm.
download on your drive.
And on the one hand, it's really ridiculous how complex I've been trying to be with my language, and how much blockages with communication with people that gave me, and how, like, through high school and then college, there's these like huge sentences. And don't get me wrong, I like complex things, I like learning in depth, but there's this point where it's just filler. Like you say, there's so much content, especially like if you look at the internet nowadays, you don't get to you don't know what you want to watch. You don't, like, you can get lost.
Hmm.
So then, yeah, like you said, Yoda, like it takes, what do they say, or how do they say, it takes going out to the world to remember that, like the alchemist, that the answer was right at that sycamore tree where you started very simply.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, right there at the beginning.
So I'm sipping this tea now, and I I know you are on liquids now. Are you just juice, or do you drink tea sometimes?
Yeah, I like tea. I like juice, kombucha. Those
Mhm.
are the things that I like drinking. Also coconut water.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just mostly it's juice for me during the day. And yeah, that's just what I enjoy. And people ask me, why don't you drink regular water? It's just I enjoy the taste of coconut water. So
Oh, definitely.
yeah, those are things that I mainly have.
What are your favorite juices, and what are your favorite teas?
Yeah, I like there's ginger teas. I like I like the green juice,
Mm.
pineapple juice, and
Mm.
blueberries. Those are the ones my favorite. Yeah.
I saw you speak about doing like a more vigorous qigong routine every day before you do the live that you do.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What is the more vigorous one?
Yeah, so there's a fragrance qigong, so it's called Shanggong, and that's a little more active. You know, sometimes I'll do that one, or I'll do a standing Zhanzhuang, which is like
Mm.
standing like a tree for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. But the other one is more kind of more aerobic. It involves more swinging motions, more activity than
Mm-hmm.
the usual breath that we just do in and out and then up and down and expanding and contracting. It's a little more swinging with the body and just bringing the body into its own homeostasis through like that pump, you know,
Mm.
helping out the kidneys, all the internal organs. There's just a lot of movements that work with the body in that way. So I like to do that and challenge myself. I like to push myself a little bit more,
Mm.
just to see where I can go. Yeah.
Nice. What kind of music are you into these days?
So there's a lady that she does neo soul. Her name is Cleo Soul. Yeah, and I like listening to that while I play my flute. So lately I've been playing my flute as an accompaniment to different music. And you know, a lot of people don't know, but I'm not the type of person that really just listens to music all during the day. Even when I'm driving, I'm in the car, I'm listening to either an audiobook,
Mm.
something to motivate me, something to inspire me, or a motivational speaker of some kind. So I listen to a lot of speakers, a lot of orators, a lot of people who are putting out that positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that kind of gets into my bloodstream and
Mm.
allows me to get that same energy out there as well. But when I do listen to music, it's usually whenever I'm roller skating at the rink or, you know, playing along with something along with my flute. Like I said, and yeah, those moments are really special because
Mm.
you know when you don't hear music for a long time, you appreciate it even more. You
Mm.
know, I remember when I was around some monks and nuns from Myanmar, their their beliefs around, you know, the monastic life
Mm-hmm.
and Buddhism, it kind of prohibited them from really enjoying things. Like they weren't supposed to technically indulge in certain
Mm-hmm.
things, like be listening to music. So whenever I was playing my flute around them, I noticed they wouldn't tell me to stop, but like they just kind of listened, but they weren't really like yeah, it was interesting. It was just interesting
Mm-hmm.
to see someone interacting and just, you know, they enjoyed it, but they knew that it was something that they had to stay detached, you know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had they had to remain equanimous. And that was really interesting to witness that. That just you just brought that memory back for me. Yeah.
This reminds me, I saw a video from Casey Michelle. She does
Yeah.
breath. So I don't know if you saw the video where she talks about her Vipassana retreat, 10 days. And there's a little clip of her driving the car right after the retreat, listening to some song from Beyonce after 10 days of silence and meditation. And I don't remember when I saw somebody last time that was sort of like grown up, quote unquote adult,
Hmm.
that was flipping out to a song with tears in their eyes and singing, like breaking the voice. So yeah, and now I remember, I don't know if it's Montauk or somebody has that um dark room retreat where for how long you are in darkness and then you come out and you look at the sunshine, and I'm like how do people's head do not explode after that,
Right.
you know, the overwhelm.
Right. Right. I mean, it's just, it's like words cannot describe, words, you almost can't put it in words. Because I remember going through, I did a Vipassana last November,
Hmm.
and, it was that same 10 days, you're sitting down for 10 hours a day and just in yourself. There's no talking, there's no speaking, there's no
Hmm.
writing. So you don't have a
Hmm.
journal or a diary to write your thoughts. You don't have any, you can't use your cell phone. They take away your cell phone, they lock it in a box at the beginning before orientation. They lock everybody's cell phone, so you have nothing to maybe even put a voice memo or anything to, you have no entertainment.
Hmm.
And then you're honoring other people's noble silence. So you're
Hmm.
walking past each other, not really you're not really acknowledging each other, not looking at each other. You're not
Wow.
hugging each other. There's no physical contact. There's no sexual misconduct. There's two dormitories, one for the women and one for the men, and everyone just meets in the meditation hall and does the work, and then they go back to the dormitory and then go to the dining hall, and you're eating in silence, right?
Hmm.
So people were eating in silence. I was drinking my tea. I had the Bengal spice tea and lemon water. And then we would go right back to the dormitory and then right back to the meditation hall and sit for another hour, you know?
Oh,
And
wow.
just hours and hours of sitting, you would ask yourself, like, what am I getting, from all of the sitting?
Hmm.
But at a certain point, there there's a breakthrough. It's like you break through this threshold in your
Hmm.
mind, like mental surgery, and
Hmm.
you're on the operating table, and you're the surgeon,
Uh-huh.
right? So you can't, it's almost like you don't want to leave the operation before it's complete,
Hmm.
because there might be open wounds in there,
Hmm.
open things, like you're making incisions and you're doing all sorts of stuff in your mind. Things are coming up that hadn't been there for years. You had thought
Wow.
all these fears had disappeared, and now they're coming back. Now they're here.
Hmm.
So when I got resensitized, when my body reacclimatized itself to normality, to really just neutrality,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
just that sense of oneness, and then to also feel the abundance of everything around me. When I got out and they gave us our cell phones back, I almost didn't want to turn it on. I almost wanted to
Hmm.
just leave it off, like, can I just leave this off for a little while and just enjoy this? Because I mean, you realize when you go back into society, when you go back into the lights, the sights and the sounds all around, you see everything differently,
Hmm.
you know? Yeah.
I would be scared. I would be scared to open up the phone
Yeah.
and I don't know how I would flip out because I know I would have downloads. I know I would have like pages and pages of stuff that I want to write down, and you can't.
Right.
Mm. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I haven't done something like that. But let's say the closest thing is when I'm fasting, let's say that day, and I choose not to go on my phone, and I
Mm-hmm.
choose, let's say I choose a routine for myself, which is like um something like qigong for half an hour, and then I read something, and then again qigong half an hour, and then I read something, and then I maybe take a nap. So it's still not fully, I'm still stimulating my mind with something that I read. I'm still moving my body. I'm not sitting still, but I can get the picture of, like doing the same thing, repetitive thing all day long, not having any new stuff and not being connected to the world. So, wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see just how much you were stimulated. You see the level of stimulation and you feel every sensation a lot much more. It becomes a lot
Mhm.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. It just becomes just more palpable. Like you feel it on another level.
Been reading a lot of Gene Keys lately. It's connected to human design,
Mm.
and there's this talk about how we are now at the peak of stimulation, peak of everything all at once. The height of decadence of society, Roman Empire, modern times, stuff like. And as we come to the peak, it's going to kind of like explode our heads. So we go down into the solar plexus again, into the Dantian, into, feeling, stuff like that. And we're going to go back to slowly, going to pendulum swing back to um, just doing a less, just not trying so hard. And like the buzzing of the world is going to die down, and like 9 to 5s are gonna become like 11 to 12s. And yeah, I look forward to that. I feel like we're just rushing so much, and everything is too much. I don't know. Like I feel like I know you feel the same way, because your our breathing changes when we change the diet, and
Mm.
it's like everything is too much, like too much. Everything is too fast. I don't know. How do you deal with this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It seems like we're heading in the direction for more connection, you know, connection with ourselves and everyone else. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they say you have to slow down to speed up. Like when
Hmm.
things are going so fast, you go more slowly. You go more slowly. And there's a feeling that, appreciating things like nature, appreciating things like long walks or just, these talks like this, there's a
Hmm.
reverence for the present moment, the present moment. That's the gift. Like they call it the present, you
Hmm.
know? And to be present, to share your presence, to radiate that presence is medicine,
Hmm.
not only for you, but for someone who is able to witness that as well. It's medicine for you both. So I definitely enjoy that. And it goes back to the listening. Like, are we really listening? How well are we listening? How deeply can we listen? Yeah.
I had a dream, like two, I don't know, 2, 3 years back, and I was walking and there was this huge tree and something along the lines of um, Rivendell, like the elvish place from Lord of the Rings. And there was these big structures. It was like from another time. And I met this lady, like a prophet lady, underneath that tree, and she pointed me and said, "You're in the right place. Look over there." And I looked at this other place, and there was this creature, and it was like either like an amoeba or a jellyfish or something amorphous, something not like humanoid, but it had it had like characteristics of a human ear, like maybe the inner ear or something, third ear or however.
Mm.
And the creature told me that right now humanity is unable to hear her because of the saturation with all the other frequencies, and that that creature is actually what I come to now know as ether.
Mm.
And we all have it. It's almost like, like an earpiece that we all have, but we're not aware that it's there because all the buzzing of all the EMFs and programming conditioning. But the creature said that once humanity is ready, we will all be able to hear her, and it's going to be like a dawn of a new age where it's going to be like we're all going to be, it's almost like she's going to be there to guide everyone, but she's not going to push anyone anywhere. She's just going to be there as this background Wi-Fi that we will all be able to tap into once we're all ready.
Mm. Wow. Man, that sounds exciting, man.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be tapped in, tuned in.
That's kind of scary, isn't it? That's like full transparency. That's like no hiding. It's gonna be beautiful, but it's kind of scary losing
What
yourself.
what do you find most frightening about it?
I guess seeing parts of myself mirrored back from others.
Mm.
But then I know that I only fear it because my whole life I had people when that would happen, I would have people who would judge that I see. But if we're all transparent, then we're all seeing the same things, then the people who see me are not going to judge it.
Mm. Okay. So the fear is really the judgment?
Yeah.
Because you've had people before that mirrored things back to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was still that fear there.
The fear is opening up and being vulnerable, and then the other person rejecting it or
Mm.
condemning it, or and now I know after many years, many different people I've encountered, I now know that this rejection is not them rejecting me, it is them rejecting the vulnerable part in themselves that they would have to open up to meet me.
Mm. That's
Uh,
deep. Wow. So the rejection is really just their reflection.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I understand that. So I can logically understand where it's coming from, and still it hurts because I can't connect.
I see.
Like, let's say it's parents, let's say it's family, let's say it's close friends, and you understand, okay, this person cannot connect to me on this level, and I know why. I see patterns, and it still doesn't help because I still have to leave. I still have to, you know, I feel sorry for, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, tell me about how long have you been doing interviews with people, and how long have you been doing the podcast, and how has it changed you, and what were some like difficult moments, challenges?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking that, brother. Yeah, I started the podcast, the Open Palm, back in 2018. So it was late July of 2018. That was my first episode in a grocery store parking lot. And I had my phone in my hand and I just started talking, you know? And at first it was awkward. At first it was a
Mm.
little rough, you know? I can go back and listen to my first episode and I can see where I might have been nervous or might have been like unsure. There was uncertainty there. There was like
Mhm.
newness there, you know? But then slowly but surely you start to come into your own voice, you know, more
Mm.
and more as you speak, and you project that energy. Then other people, they reflect that energy, they connect with that energy that you have projected. And I mean, you can start evolving in ways that you never expected,
Mm.
you know? So it was awesome just to see the growth and development of myself. And sometimes you're the last to know, like, just how much you have grown.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's good to have it like a journal.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I go back to like some old recordings and like YouTube videos and stuff, and I feel like through the years it's like I've left fragments of myself, like breadcrumbs. And when I watch a video, let's say from 3 years ago, or let's say before, like you say, 2018, like 2018, 2019 were the last years before the pandemic and like the world kind of going upside down a bit. And when I look at myself, I see how different I was. Maybe I was exercising more, maybe I was, outside in the fresh air more at that time. I was maybe more carefree about things, not aware of things, definitely not aware of like different types of diets, different types of existence that we experiment with. And then I kind of go, okay, this can go both ways. This can go, I can look at myself and like correct my posture and get a little bit of that spark back. It's like I've left a chunk of myself back there, and at the same time I feel bad for forgetting that part of myself, but then I feel amazing because I'm looking at it right now and I can integrate it right now and I can learn from it. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much that we can learn from ourselves, you know. It's just, and sometimes you feel like you're just scratching the surface,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Like you say, and Ellie Tom, and it never ends. We've only just begun.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. He always tells people to enjoy the journey, you know. There's no destination, enjoy the journey.
He's such an amazing example of a wanderer, of a journeyman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he keeps that childlike wonder as well. His
Hmm.
inner child is very, very alive. Yeah. He's very connected with the child within.
He reminds me of, I don't know if you saw Hunter x Hunter anime.
Yeah. Yeah, with Gone and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Killua. Mm-hmm.
So how like everyone in the Hunter x Hunter universe basically like their legs are their home.
Mm.
So yeah, very very close to a real life Netero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Netero, oh man, he was a beast. The 10,000 punches of gratitude,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
The gratitude punches. I'll never forget that scene where he was out there in the snow and in the seasons. He spent like all the seasons in
Hmm.
one place, just doing punches of gratitude every single day. And it was like a moment of enlightenment. He realized he was grateful. And then he just started, he would go into the namaste position, the namaskar, and then
Hmm.
and then he'd go back, put his hands together, and he would punch. And he kept doing that over and over again. And then, I mean, birds would come and they would flock
Hmm.
to him, and the nature was responding to him. And it was almost
Hmm.
like the whole universe was in accordance with this one man, this one being. All of nature was like welcoming him, and it showed that they were all in agreement with what he
Hmm.
was, you know? And he became faster than sound. I remember he went to the dojo, and all of that practice, all of the years, all of the time that he spent in that field, he came to the dojo, and the dojo master got emotional. He started crying. A tear came down his eye
Hmm.
because he said, "This man, his punch was faster than sound, you know, faster than sound. He broke the sound barrier." Like, can you imagine that
Mm,
somebody can punch before you blink?
mm,
The punch is already there, it's gone, you know? So that was just amazing to see the testament of practice, patience, persistence,
mm.
perseverance, like all of the P's he put together in those punches,
All
you
the
know?
power, all the powerful peas.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Netero is definitely a role model for sure. Yeah.
And I didn't know it at the time. Like I didn't know about breatharianism and fasting and all these feats that people can actually do that is innate in us. When I saw the anime for the first time, and I don't know if it's 1 year or 2 years, but it's definitely more than a year that he was just there and doing the punches. And then
Mhm.
when he came to the dojo and um, the guy that started crying, he offered him his cool. He said, "Please teach me." And
Right.
then Netero said, "Okay, if you give me some food."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
That
like it was only after I discovered breatharianism and all these things and things that people can do is that I realized, okay, so that's basically like Netero broke through that with his practice.
hmm Yeah, because it didn't show during that montage. It never showed him like grubbing down on anything. He wasn't like,
Hmm.
eating anything out there. He was just training, you
Hmm.
know, training in the wilderness. It was just him and the universe. That's it. So yeah, I love the explanation that they break down with Nen, the way they utilize
Oh
energy,
yeah.
you know, the way they utilize energy, the way they build their energy, the way they harness their energy, the way you know, they guide their energy, the way they manipulate energy, and how they figure out the best way that they use energy for them, like they're
Different
like almost
types.
their own human design. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I really love the types, the different types, the enhancer, the manipulator, the conjurer, the specialist, and how my mind connects it to human design so easily. And sometimes when I wake up in the morning and I go out and I see the world pulling me left and right, I understand that the easiest way to bring myself back in alignment is to tell myself, okay, you got a bad mind frame, you got a bad filter through which you see the world. Let's go through the hunter x hunter filter. And then
Uh-huh.
I observe the world. Okay, that person is an enhancer. That's why I feel their energy this way. This person is this person is that. Not in a sense of judgment, just in a sense of helps me it helps me see the world, so it's kind of like an anime, kind of like an adventure, playful. And yeah,
Mm.
you hit the nail on the head with the human design and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And another thing that was actually a profound realization from Hunter x Hunter was how certain individuals would become so powerful through self-imposed restriction.
Mm.
So, for example, like I think the name was Karapika,
Yeah.
and there were some chains that they had that they would wrap around their opponents, and there would be nothing that the opponent could do. They would be immobilized.
Hmm.
But restriction was that it was only a certain clan, like this spider clan or this group of individuals that had done something to him, or to get revenge on them,
Hmm.
what they did. And so out of all the opponents in the world, he said, and he made like an oath to themselves, that these were the only people that he could use that ability on. And since he restricted it down to only those people, it made it so powerful. Yeah.
Mm.
There were other conjurers, there were other people that had abilities as well, that they would say, okay, they would roll the dice and have this ability.
Mm.
Like a jack would come out, and he would kind of be like it'd almost be like a casino, like a slot machine
Hmm.
ability. And he could only do this ability if it came out and only in that certain fashion. And since he restricted it, it made it more powerful, you
Mm.
know?
Talk about
So
commitment.
yeah. so that was the whole paradox. There was a paradox on restriction and power, that power can actually come through self-imposed restriction, you know?
This ties so much into the conscious language book where it says the more specific you get, the better the manifestation. So
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
yeah, man, Japanese are gods in my eyes.
Yeah, they definitely know what's going on, you know. They know what's really going on. I have a lot of respect for Japanese culture, you know. I play the shakuhachi, it's a Japanese flute, and
Mm.
no musical instrument has connected me more to myself and nature than this flute, you know. And even researching about the Komuso monks from centuries ago in Japan, like just seeing that meditative quality of them just
Mm.
walking, playing the flute. And it used to be like they used to be Ronin. They were samurai that had
Hmm.
no mask, and they would put the basket on their head and just play the flute through the streets. And so when I emulated that and I did that out here, I saw how people responded.
Oh.
And you might be surprised, brother, but people have like just heard me play the flute and they've just given me money. I never even asked for money. They just start giving me, like if the energy is so reciprocal, they have to have an exchange. They feel compelled to,
Nice.
with that gratitude. So it's powerful.
It kickstarts the abundance engine. You can't help it.
Right, right.
Okay, let me write it down. You say shaku hachi.
Yeah, shakuhachi, that's the flute that I play. It's a Japanese bamboo flute. Shakuhachi.
Would you be open to when we or now or when we close the conversation to play a little bit?
Sure, I can go grab it. Yeah, it's just in the next room. I can grab it for you.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just let me know when.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah, like from Dragon Ball Z with the Chi, with the Nen and Hunter x Hunter, with like I don't know if you saw Attack on Titan, how they speak about these walls and that there's like more territory outside the walls. And Hunter x Hunter at the end speaks about these continents that nobody ever went to. And then it makes you wonder, like, is this map that we've been given the only thing? Because there are places in the world that civilians can't go to. So who knows? This is what really fascinates me. Like, is there places in the world where you cannot go to, but there are like animals and species of plants that nobody has ever seen before or hasn't seen for centuries?
Right, right. No, it makes you wonder, you know? Seriously, there has to be. Yeah.
Mm. I also have a flute, but it's more of a Native American.
Mm-hmm.
I can play a few notes just so you can hear what it's like.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Mhm. Okay. It says high spirits on it, and it's got a raven. Got it from a special friend. He is like a conscious hip hop artist from Croatia, also um, connected to spirituality, and he gifted it to me. So,
Nice. Thank you.
mhm. I'm really interested in this Japanese one that we just the shakuhachi. I'm gonna look it up and maybe buy one for myself.
Yeah, they range, they range. They can yeah, they can be in all different prices because the way that they have to dry the bamboo, cultivate the bamboo and drill and like, it can take a long time just to make one. So, yeah.
I bet they take their time, just like with swords.
Definitely they take yeah, they take their time for sure. They take their time.
Yeah, I was just in a in an Asian store the other day looking at tea sets, the smallest tea sets and the little cups that you have to pour over and over again. And I'm having difficulty deciding which tea set to get. And recently I got a nice pair of chopsticks. I'm still pretty nostalgic about eating with chopsticks, but my diet has changed to now mostly fruits, very rarely like some maybe steamed vegetables, but very, very rarely. And now I have these chopsticks, and I'm like, well, am I gonna eat pineapple with chopsticks?
Right. Right. Hmm.
I mean, I would, for the sake of using them, but then it's not like, there's this mental image of like rice or some
No.
noodles or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not the same.
definitely, definitely. I feel really comfortable in this silence. However, for the sake of the podcast and like listeners, um, I don't know, do you have something on your mind you would like to talk about more, or would you like to end this conversation with you playing something?
Sure, I can yeah, let me grab the flute here for you. And yeah, just gratitude, man. Just
Mm.
thank you for
Hmm.
having this. Thank you for that nourishing silence. I love that you take solace in the silence and in that moment of mindfulness, to just be mindful in that moment. I love that you relish that as well because it,
Hmm.
it took me a long time to appreciate it, you know, and especially in our society here, not many people you see really know how to appreciate it. There's um there's always something that usually when you speak to a person and you've meditated quite some time and you got comfortable with your own mind,
Mm.
that you would find when no one fills in that space, someone in front of you might rush, to fill it in because there's that nervous tendency, the nervous energy. So I think that is one of the traits as well of the Japanese, since we were
Mm.
talking about, is that they don't have to fill in that space immediately. I think that's one of the places on earth that people have studied, and they've said that, where other people might let um, half a second go by before they interject or say something, the Japanese can let, like, 10 seconds.
Mm. Hmm.
So it's very prominent over there, that peaceful, that ability to just reside within stillness is admirable for sure. So yeah, thank you for putting that out on your platform, man. More
Mm.
people, it's really healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So here's the flute here, and I hope you can hear it. So
It's not coming through.
no worries, brother.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
But yeah, thank you again. This has been awesome.
Thank you. I wish you a great rest of your day, and until next voice message or next conversation.
Yeah. Likewise, brother. Take care.
Peace, health, and abundance. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, ask a question, or share your story. Check out my audio courses: Human Design Basics, Intermediate and Advanced, Human Design Projector Masterclass, and Elemental Balancing course. You can listen to the first lesson of each course for free. Once purchased, stream as much as you like and learn at your own pace. Check out the testimonials from happy students. Join the League of Wanderers community. You can join on the weekly community and support calls. You can book one-on-one personal human design reading and coaching calls with me. You can join us on the Insight Timer app for stress release movement classes and Q&A sessions. There is a newsletter you can sign up for, and there are my free ebooks to download. My merch web shop is available if you would like to get my original artwork and designs printed on a variety of high-quality products. You can also contact me for commissions and graphic design work. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram. All the mentioned services and offerings can be found on icreatelines.com, and also check out the description of the video for more details. If you have any questions of any kind, if you would like to collaborate, if you want to come on a podcast, or you have suggestions and feedback, don't hesitate to contact me. I wish everyone peace, health, and abundance.